Okay, well, the setup has always been, I'm just reading in England, right, NCC Limited Company, and the adult, they call it Adult Safeguarding Board, when they set up in March 2027 happened, 2017 I should say. I did a full rebuttal of the libel and slander that was made up by this medical company, done research, dun&bradstreet.co.uk. The agents working, they're all the dun&bradstreet.co.uk number, website, and then you'll find the Dun & Bradstreet numbers for all public funded companies in England and the subcontract out private limited companies or independent limited companies. It's how it works at NHS England Limited and in primary care. As the authorised agent representative for the birth certificate trust account, which is Crown Corporation owned, no short value, no liability or errors or omissions accepted, all rights reserved, without recourse, non-assumped. I did all my documents correctly and awfully, but they're constantly targeting me. Again, the assumption, right, by email. It's procurement contracts. Now they brought in Best Way Holdings National Chemist Limited in Manchester, local area individuals in my area kept doing the gas stalking, gaslighting, and by email as well. Especially locally, the demonic Freemason demons are sold out, and the trade name is well. Wow, that was a big bang, wasn't it? At 4:10 in the afternoon. So, you're the noise campaign, right? So, how it works, they're sending out invitations. A certain company, the General Hospital, I thought nationally they had a backlog with the past 2 years anyway. Rejection not offer without dishonour. They did that first offer, the date when I got robbed, on the 13th of the 1st, 2022. 4 weeks on, they send a reminder by a PO box unknown company, AI produced documents. It's not even authorised or signed, it's just using a national NHS number. It's where they use your data, medical data, and it's rejection of offer without dishonour again. I'm not having that radiation effects on my body. Informed consent, they need to offer goods and services, and the law for full disclosure and contract law, which is not. And that will go back into the system. So we're basically are making this point that NCC Limited in England, in one's area, Northampton County Council Limited Company, I did 9 documents before in 2017, right? And they still carried on to set me up. And I didn't have this disrepair in the wet room in my flat then. It was all deliberate to get me out of my flat. So ever since I moved in, it's NK Ultra, trauma-based mind control. Educateyourself.org, and you can research that if you want. Right, so the point of they're claiming there's 3 companies of the board members, but you can't have a building as a board member. You have to have their representative agents, public servants. So now it's called West North Hampshire Council Limited, on their policy at April 2021. 4th of April they launched their new company. Northampton General Hospital Trust, it's LLP, Limited Partnerships and Limited Company, contracted nationally. Locally it's called Northamptonshire Clinical Commission Group, a limited company. They have a CEO, board of directors in primary care contract. That is nationally funded by the public purse. It's known as NHS England, a limited company. I'm just making some hand notes. It's a contract offer. So then via they commission out community care services, subcontract out to private companies. And this area, no wonder for this period of time, blocked deliberately. Millbrook Healthcare Group and Millbrook Healthcare Limited is taken over in end of 2019, 2020 to date by a financial national company, head office in London. And despite my emails, recorded posts to the CEO, board of directors, and to the governance department agent to remind them that unlawful breach of due process in offer goods and services began in October. August, September, October, and I got the dates and times when they did that, the local agents, and they did not send a letter, they didn't email, and there was no phone calls. I cold calling, but I can't walk, I'm bedbound. So it's not me have not required the lawful times and goods and services within the 6 month time period to service my medical loan equipment. They're making it out that I'm incompetent, you see, deliberately to push this on to me again, all over again. And they've been building up a bigger picture this time, right? And they're using my adult son miles away to do all this on top, beginning of last year as well. Yeah, can't make it up. So then they bring in, like I got set up in March 2017 by a guy called Robert. They're on their General Medical Council member, and they have to sign up to be a member to practice as a doctor, depending what field they want to trade in business. As I just showed you, that's the company. So the offer goods and services, well, it's all digitalised now anyway. That setup began in 2017 March. Now, it's began before that when I noticed their demonic connections in the Freemasonry, especially a certain one who's now left a long time ago. They made up lies about my handwritten letters. Yet they got agents, they've got secretaries, they've got people who use computers. I had nobody. So they kept blocking, started even more so in 2018, 20, when they breached my GDPR medical records. All of my years of medical records to public servants locally in the 1st of June 2018. By the 2019, I was trying to get all access to my medical records. I got blocked. Yeah? Unlawfully. Breach of GDPR, General Data Protection, your lawful rights in England. So, and that obviously began the other subcontracted out to private companies or home delivery services began 2019, and now by 2020, Northampton NHS Foundation Trust. Yeah, it's called Northamptonshire Healthcare Foundation Trust LLP company, and they do a variety of offer goods and services in. They all working together. When they say together, it means they're sharing your data online. If you don't have your data records and you don't know, especially your targets, you don't know what is being shared about you. Without your consent, they can falsify records, and the mental health card comes out yet again. So the Adult Safeguarding Board, I found out who is involved, and I recognise the individual. Don't know them personally, but she is, it could be coincidence, she has the same surname, same last name, given name, by similar name by the former Conservative Member of Parliament. Yeah, well, if you look into how business and commerce works, it's not a democracy. It's all set up as a company, members of Parliament, the bigger picture anyway. Point of this video is to highlight this, what they're doing to me all over again. Oh, because who wants to do this is housing. Home Group Limited, presumptions again. I thought haven't been able to respond. The libel and slander has been going on for years. They've blocked any upgrades to my kitchen. 2013 that was, 12-13. Minor attachments to the door frames in the hallway, and I had official OT reports then, occupation therapy reports, and the housing agents locally, especially here, blocked that. That led me into the hands of displacement, the trauma with all that. 3 different placements without even me knowing about my lawful rights then, and I began learning law 2012 because of it all. They hated the fact that I got a public lawyer at the time to get me home, where I was displaced unlawfully. And it's always been trying to get another occupation therapy report to support their narrative, their demonic narrative, to get me out and say, oh, these places aren't suitable to live anymore. Of 13 years tenure, a contract. It's always been that way. It's never about blocking. They're blocked unlawfully, my lawful right to repairs. It's always been that way. Any offer or claim to come and do gas service or oil check is to report back condition on my flat, how I live privately in my private dwelling. There's no issue about the rent not being paid. There's always been not wanting me here, and do you know who's behind it? Stuart, a man who sold himself out, who's connected to the occult, very much deep occult, and it's been years since I moved in. I had 2 lovely cats when I moved in. The lies from that former male called a certain individual, last information called White, he lied about me, and there's a former woman, she's no longer here, she sided with Stuart, and they began a campaign of libel and slander against me since I moved in, and I got run over by the end of that year. Because the first tactics they tried since I moved in didn't work, so they had to get me run over, and I didn't know about targeted or gaslighting or this demonic side of it all until 2018. It all builds up my past before I moved here, how the old house got broken into, how I was set up in 2022, before that, and all this time today and what's going on now. You tell me, how am I meant to get through all this? Anybody similar out there? You know too well this is a battle, and the spiritual battle and the practical sense as well. They will not stop. My whole dreams manipulated, and the Mylord labs, military abductions, the advanced technology on top. So I'm dealing with these on the practical level, and I've got to keep out certain subjects. You tell me how you can keep going doing this. So they won't stop, because what they're after now is using maritime law, and they're going to push in the presumption, the court of protection. Ministry of Justice is a limited company. Its head office is actually London. I did a full affidavit rebuttal of presumption, my private life, ability to make a decision. It had nothing to do with that, because the timelines working backwards to that period of where I got a report to confirm I was failed in maladministration and public sector side and services and offer goods and services, I was led to believe, after I had that attack on my heart and my body 2017. And not one individual in hospital would refer me to see if there's the standard procedure would see in-house occupation therapist, in-house social worker, how best they could support me, procedures. Nope. They said I had to self-refer myself when I got home. Really? And so I now know, with the witness statement at the time, I thought my daughter-in-law was helping me. It links back. So when the daughter-in-law with my son then in 2020 came to visit me during the lockdown period, they kept pushing about care home down their area. Really? Well, you need to have a certain medical procedure in, a certain offer. Can't say what, the juice. And I was looking into that. I said, I need help to box things up and move things into storage and hire a van. And my son said to me, I can help with all that. Well, by towards the end of the year, out of the blue, they claimed to split up. And then he was relying on me for, oh, can you just send me this finance for the whole end of 2020, 2021. I built up savings to pay for this. I considered 2 different places in my postcode location first as well. So I've never had that backup support. The narcissist in my son now, they've got to him. It never used to be like that. Well, it has been certain things going on. But the biggest thing when he came up and claimed in May 2021 and stayed at the name of the hotel was convenient, isn't it? Called Jury's Inn. It's not up this way. It's about 20 miles away from me. He pushed this. They got to him in March 2021. Before that, obviously, to support this court protection documentation, and he got my daughter to support it because they want to get after that 14,900 that I can't take because it affects my disability benefits in England. And I even sent all the documents, evidence and statute law, how it affects people in my situation. And how I was never informed of that until I found out latter part 2019. And when I was told by local public servants the offer out the blue to a care placement right across town, which would severely financially affect me as well, I didn't consent to that. Who decided that without my informed consent? That was made without my consent, so rejection offer without dishonour and sought clarification. The CEO at the time, before they changed to new company, I didn't get a response to either documents. And it's all typed incorrectly, worded. Now that they've been picking holes, her correspondence is incomprehensible. It's all typed, but this is why they damaged my laptop now on the home version. I cannot even do documents on it, let alone get it to work. Yeah? So how am I meant to do my documents to respond in honour in these assumptions and rebuttals all over again? Using the same template letters that got printed out. And then they're going to make fault with that as well. So he didn't bother, he didn't care that I got robbed on the 13th of the 1st, 2021. Sorry, 2022 now. January just gone, almost 4 weeks ago. Northampton Police, limited company, did you know that? Northamptonshire Crime and Commissioner, Crime and Fire Commissioner's Office is actually set up as a limited company. Yeah, so this is national England, how it all works in business and commerce. So they have to label target individuals as a mental health card if nothing else happens, within the other plan. The trauma-based mind control in it. If you don't deal with the flesh and blood, do it. So yeah, I just recognised all along the Home Group Limited head office in Newcastle, its agents locally have been all along behind this, clutching to local public servants to make up assumptions about my private life. I've been seeking access to the housing data, my data records, to see where exactly who said what, and a lot of things will be blanked out. Hear the noise campaign right now. And earlier, they have to plant certain things outside. It's all white vehicles. Minor military abductions, NK Ultra, trauma-based mind control. Doesn't matter what I know, what I've done, what I produced, all this period of time, it's always going to be this end game for them. The plan is to physically kill me off in ways that I can't even explain. I'm sure you know what I mean. You'll realise they like people get out, when they're going through so much of themselves. Just because I returned to send her an offer without for cause, without dishonour, to a national company. There you go. When they do the motorbike campaign like that, noise campaign, it's always a symbolism, get on your bike. Can you believe that? These souls are taken over by the demonic entities. Take care.